In other news, the political party Jamaah says it's demanding that groups representing gay and lesbian people should not be allowed to have any input into the parliamentary process dealing with new policies around the family. Parliament is looking at a revised white paper on family life. Jamaah says that these groups want to redefine the family according to their own traditions and is trying to force its views on other people. Advocate Shameemah Salie is the national spokesperson for Jamaah. Ma'am, good afternoon to you. Almost everyone in this family comes from a family. The vast majority of people in this country belong to a family. Families are almost universal. Why should one group of people be excluded from being a part of determining government policy about families?
Good afternoon, Stephen. Hope you are well, and the listeners as well. You know, this is something that is, I think it's the feeling of probably the majority. Firstly, I want us to think about something. While everyone, we agree, should enjoy the constitutional rights of our country, groups should not take advantage of imposing their rights and ideologies on others and interpret rights in a biased manner. Secondly, that minority positions in our democratic society, right? This is for example, if you look at both the LGBTQI+, it's a minority group in our society who is imposing an agenda and a narrative on the majority. And this has been subtly been happening for a while now, and now it's being pushed onto our family structures and on the rights of parents and families to educate their children, especially with regard to the religious beliefs, the traditional and the cultural beliefs of families are being impacted by a minority group.
Okay.
That is not acceptable.
Okay. Do gay people love their children any less than straight people?
Look.
No. Don't say look. Answer the question.
No, I will answer the question, but there's specific questions that you've noted that was going to be asked, and you are not staying in line with the questions that you were indicating. However, please understand the following. We do not have a problem with the individuals exercising their LGBTQIA plus agendas within their own homes, with their own children. But we do have an issue when they want to push their narratives and their agendas on our homes, our children, our religion, when there is a disrespect towards the majority. That is where the problem comes in. The LGBTQI plus community, they have what we call an internal jihad. They have an internal difficulty and war within themselves as to how they perceive themselves. And in their insecurity, they are trying to push their agenda onto others. That I cannot, and you cannot accept.
Are you suggesting that gay people are at war with themselves internally? Is that your suggestion?
Well,
what evidence? You're an advocate. You must believe in evidence. On what do you base that?
Look, first and foremost, yes, I'm an advocate, but first and foremost, I'm a God-conscious person. I believe in God. And I believe whether you're Christian, whether you're Jewish, whether you're Muslim, you follow the Bible, you follow the Quran, you follow the Torah. Whether many cultures in our country, many religions in our country do not conform to the standards of LGBTQI+, because we are God-fearing. What does the Quran...
I'm sorry, just before you go any further down this argument.
Yes.
What gives you the right to interpret the word of God, whoever she may be?
Who says God is a she? Who says God is a he?
Well, exactly. That's deliberately why I did it. But what gives you the right to define the word of God? You're not God. You don't have the right to do it. Neither do I.
You don't. But at the end of the day, I believe in the Quran. I believe in our God. I believe in the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I believe in the Quran. And I believe in the guidance that the Quran has provided us. I'm a person of faith. And at the end of the day, you and yours are trying to break down the faith of others. You are trying to impose upon others your agendas and your narrative.
You're the one who's saying that one group of people. So as far as I'm aware, no one from the gay or lesbian community has said that you and people who believe, who subscribe to your faith, or as you interpret your faith, should be excluded. No. You're the one asking for the exclusion of people. They're not.
Fine. They, however, know that their beliefs and practice are out of sync with all religious traditions. The evidence that they present are based on flimsy grounds, so they should not use these to push their views onto the majority of us who adhere to strict divine, ethical, moral code.
Okay.
Now, the LGBTQI may express their opinions within open societies, but should be more than mindful that most do not support or identify with their views. And sadly, the sensational media have teamed up with the minority groups, making as if we all support these. This is outright disrespect for the majority.
Okay, let's go back a little bit. You're the one calling for a group of people to be excluded from making government policy. You're the ones doing that. They're not doing that to you. They're quite happy to hear from you. No one else is saying that another group of people should be excluded. Why this particular group? Why the obsession about sex?
I absolutely disagree with you on this.
Your press release says that you're asked that they must be excluded. That's what your press release says.
You are, look, we are not, what we are saying is that the minority does not overtake the majority. We are saying that the minority must stop pushing the agendas onto our religion, onto our culture, and onto our families. That is actually what is happening, and you're trying to ignore that fact. So you are trying to push your own narrative by ignoring the fact that these groups are, I mean, let's give you a classic example. In the city of Cape Town, right? Has the lights ever gone out for the people of Palestine and what they're going through? So why only, wait, hold on. The light has gone on for what's happening in Ukraine. The light has gone on for for the LGBTQI plus community. Has the light ever gone on for the people of the Cape Flats? So yes, there's a push by the minority, but why is this push happening by the minority? The narratives and the agendas. What is the reason that even in our education system, what is education? Education is education teaching children about sex and sexual orientation and what is right and wrong in terms of a minority group.
Okay, hold on. You say that this is about minority groups. You say this is about the right of people to bring up their children as they wish. So firstly, that right must extend to gay and lesbian people. It's in the Constitution. You're an advocate. I'm sure you can find it there. But let me go a little bit further. You base this on religion. Apartheid was based on religion. Racism was based on religion. Homophobia and racism are exactly the same. To use any religious text to try and justify homophobia, let me put it to you, to use any religious text to justify homophobia, which is what you're espousing, simple prejudice, homophobia is exactly the same. You're no different from Hendrik Verwoerd.
That is your opinion.
No, it's exactly the same.
No, it's not. That is your opinion, and that is your agenda, and that is your narrative. It is not the same.
Why not? What's the difference? You're using a religious text to justify your prejudice, exactly what Verwoerd did.
Are you a person of faith? Do you believe in God?
None of your business. I'm asking the questions. You're invited to answer my questions. It doesn't go both ways.
Well, no, unfortunately, I find you exceptionally disrespectful. Firstly, I'm going to put it on record that you've provided me with certain questions that you wanted the response on.
I'm sorry, I did not give you questions, and we have the right as a journalist to ask the questions that we deem fit. And you have the right to issue your press releases and face questions.
Not. I suggest that you speak to the individual who asked me to come on board. I find you exceptionally disrespectful. You provided certain questions, and you respectfully requested
I'm sorry, you're a professional spokesperson and an advocate. You can't answer questions.
No, I will respond to our statement and the questions that you asked us to respond to. You are going out of line to push your narrative and agenda, so I'm going to go further surrounding our statement. And our statement goes further with regard to Woolworths. It goes with regard to Edgar's and the stores who is pushing the LGBTQIA plus on the agenda. So
that's because they believe in inclusion, ma'am, and you believe in exclusion. You, from what you have said, believe in prejudice. That's the difference.
We are a God-fearing political party, And we do not support the narratives of the LGBTQIA plus community and their supporters. We do not support going into a store such as Woolworths and provocative images being displayed with regard to LGBTQIA plus for our young people, our young children and families to enter a store which is supposed to be a family store.
So I'm sorry, is gay love unfamily? You get to define what love is. Only you as Jamaah and no one else.
No, Jamaah is not just Jamaah. There are many organizations, individuals and people of faith who does not support the actions of the narrative and agenda with regard to the LGBTQIA plus community, nor what the stores is currently doing in order to sell garments and utilize funding out of that garments being sold for support of the LGBTQIA plus community. That is going against the religious beliefs of others.
Okay.
So,
you are the national spokesperson for Jamaah. The mayor of Joburg, Kabelo Gwamanda, he is of course unwell at the moment, but he is also a member of Jamaah. Does he subscribe to your beliefs?
Kabelo can speak, is the mayor of Johannesburg, and you will not push that type of narrative where you're asking me questions about Kabelo, where you are actually speaking to myself. This has got nothing to do with the city of Johannesburg. This is with regard to the LGBTQI plus community, with regard to our statement, with our fact that we do not support what is currently being done in Pride Month, where an agenda and narrative is being pushed on those who believes in God, who are of religious beliefs and cultures.
They're not interfering with you at all. You're interfering with them. You're asking to exclude a community from a government policy process. They're not asking government to exclude you. You're asking government to exclude them. That's why you must make the case.
At the end of the day, we're already living in Sodom and Gomorrah. And you know that. The murders, the rapes, and the LGBTQI plus
I'm sorry, ma'am. Are you calling gay people murderers? Are you seriously calling gay? Then why do you link one to the other?
I am saying we're already living in Sodom and Gomorrah in those times. Why do you think all these things are happening? We're talking about LGBTQI plus. It happened in those times as well. What is the biblical story with regard to what happened in those times? Seeing maybe you're a religious person or you're not.
We're going to leave it there. Thank you very much.
We have a responsibility to protect our families, our children, our constituents.
And I have a responsibility to protect my audience from prejudice. I presume you accept that.
I don't believe that I'm being prejudiced.
You're linking gay people to murder. How is that not prejudice?
No. You are creating narratives. I'm saying the world that we are living in is such a mess already. At the end of the day, now you want us to accept and create a normalization of the LGBTQI plus narrative. I've said this before. I've got nothing against people who has LGBTQI plus as
so long as they sit in the closet quietly.
As long as they don't push their narratives and their agendas onto our religion and onto our culture and onto our families.
We're going to leave it there. Advocate Shameemah Salie, thank you, National Spokesperson for the political party Jamaah.